Oh, yo, 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 yo. Oh, yo. Came up from the struggle, now we stacking chips. Black Wall Street, we rebuilding from the pits. Politics and business, we beyond rich. Donnie Glover Show, watch us shift the switch. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real ones come. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Talking black excellence, ain't no exclusivity. History in making, reclaiming our divinity. Break by break, rebuilding our community. Donnie Glover Show, celebrate unity. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real ones come. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. From the boardroom to the streets, we making waves. Business minds running, new paths paved. Politicians listen, they know we the brave. Black Wall Street dreams rising from the grave. Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the
we have some stars in the building.
Donnie Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Oh, yo. Oh, yo. Oh, yo, yo, yo.
We'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Special thank you to our executive producer of Be More News in Niagara, Mr. Emmanuel Price. We're up here this is the New York side, and that's the Canadian side, and we will be there for the New Year's dropping of the ball or somewhere around here. Very beautiful Niagara Falls, some of the best water in the world. So make sure you get out, get your passport, and do some traveling. And keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Welcome to Be More News. Y'all like our new theme music. Good morning.
Good morning, young man.
We're over here being creative. You like that? BeMoreNews.com. We got our own theme song.
It's definitely being creative.
Good morning. SMonique Smith. I've never met a SMonique Smith. What is SMonique?
It's my signature name. It has become my signature name.
Your signature name. Okay, so the topic today is, now that you know what you know, what are you going to do about it? What does that mean?
Say that again. What does that mean?
Yes.
Well, I think it was a quote that Maya Angelou also said, when you know better, you do better. And to me, in Baltimore City, I've watched some real superheroes, some legends, even like yourself, that definitely make an impact, with how we're going to evolve, how we're turning Baltimore City around. We're going to keep stumbling, getting back up is just so important. So, but what do you do once you know what you know? And as an advocate for missing children and human trafficking, it was very alarming to me to see that human trafficking is not a $150 million, it's a $150 billion industry. And of course, with poverty being the way that it is and the crime rates over the years in our city, our poor young adults have been falling prey to some of the most horrific things that's going on. When you want to talk about disrespecting human rights, some of our most vulnerable women and children, but also men, what are we doing better? So I am SMonique Smith. I'm a multi-award winning author, speaker, and a philanthropist. I've been working in the city of Baltimore, but the DMV area, champion for stronger legislation, because we want people to be held accountable for the ills that they're doing to our young adults, or our most vulnerable. And it means a lot. Being an author, I get to tell my story of my personal lived experiences and why I really work hard. But I don't want this to continue to happen to others. I can't stop it, but then applying my story and my advocacy work to any agency, municipal, possible, to enhance what we're doing. And I'm proud of Baltimore City. A lot of people, we got a lot of work to do. I think everyone has, in any city and state, you will always have a lot of work to do when you want for the betterment of society. To me, to be able to elevate humanity is key. So that's important.
Well, years ago, I interviewed a dear friend, the lady who actually predicted I would go to Africa. Do you remember Dr. Patricia Newton?
Yes.
She was she held a trafficking conference in Eastern Europe.
Mm.
I'll never forget it. I mean, what African American do you hear about holding a trafficking conference in Eastern Europe?
Yeah.
But she said the Super Bowl is the #1 trafficking event in the world.
And it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. And it has gotten to the point where any social gathering with a large multitude of people, I'm talking, anything like a festival, it could be a wine festival. Like you said, it's the Super Bowl. It could be the Olympics. Anywhere there are hotels, and even in the state of Maryland, we have so many new casinos. Those are new traps where people prey on some young adults.
Having a daughter, I remember sharing with her, she was about 10, 11, to be mindful of her surroundings. I told her that there could be someone being held hostage right next door to her.
Yes.
In the basement next door.
Right. And again, let's go back to what the topic of this show is about, is you do better when you know a little bit more. So I think social media has inundated us with a lot of things that women should watch out for. When you approach your vehicle, if you see a note on your windshield wiper, that is not a moment to stop. If you see a tie string on the handle of your door, that is not a moment to stop. If someone's trying to engage with you in a parking lot, maybe they want you to smell a perfume that they're attempting to sell you, and actually could be some form of gas that could actually have you render yourself to them. So, people have to focus on those things.
He did. He messed it up for a lot of them Muslims selling the malls, didn't he?
You know what?
Hey, brother, let me give you a little sample. Oh, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
He messed that all up, didn't he?
Yeah, he messed up a lot of lives. He did more than just mess up, that particular industry. But to me, he's ruined a lot of lives, and including the people that he's involved. And it's unfortunate that I call them role players. So I have a book called I Am the Ancestor. Before I die, I'm gonna share my story. And I made sure in the back of the book, I wanted to describe role players. If you've seen it and you didn't participate, if you knew about illful acts that people were doing, and I think Sean Puffy Combs had quite a few individuals in his network. They were there for their jobs, but they didn't say anything about the
even
things. Even
LeBron, I recently heard him defending his son. And in this clip, he said, ain't no party like a Diddy party. And I'm like, now I know you're a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
I know you're defending your son, but why would you add that into this mix?
It just probably rolled off his tongue like
that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I was having this discussion the other day, and I was getting pushback. Malcolm X said, our entertainers are not our leaders.
They're not. And we as a culture, we really, really look to them as leaders.
Well, this person was pushing back, saying, well, if they have 100 million followers, they are influencers, they are leaders. I don't think that's a leader. You might have you might have a lot of influence, like some of these preachers.
Mm-hmm.
I really I don't need to hear from you. Why? Because I see what you do.
Yeah. I agree. That's not leadership.
The talk ain't matching the walk.
Yeah. And it's really,
It seemed like I need to be advising you.
yeah, it's. I think people are still hungry for the leadership. We want the right one. So you're right. Just because you have a number count of influence, I mean, people that are following you, respect you, you just got to stay on the up and up. Like you say, you got to walk the walk and stick to it.
How did you get to writing this book, I Am the Ancestor?
It was my goal to make sure that, I was rescuing myself because I realized no one was coming to save me. Put my children and my legacy in a position of worthiness, and not allowing my past to cause it to end, but then to also apply it, to society. I knew it was a task and an assignment that God had given me. It's not like you are a little girl and want to say, when I grow up, I want to tell the world that I'm a missing child, that I was sexually abused. It's what I did with my story that I'm able to help a lot of people. So, yes, I was abducted. I was trafficked. I lived a horrific child abuse of maybe almost 2 decades. And to me, writing the story, I had to put it in writing because no one believed me, and it was impossible for me to go to so many agencies, so many individuals, so many resources. Some people who didn't believe me didn't have the resources. So it kind of evolved over time because I just wanted to make sure that the world grabbed hold of my children because I had no birth certificate, no identification, no ID, no history, no lineage, absolutely nothing. So it was allowed me to do all of the things, all three of the things. And I'm very proud. With that being said, Felicia Bonds this year is a young lady who at 16 went missing in Baltimore City. And unfortunately, a few months later, they found her in the Susquehanna River. And the Baltimore City police, kind of just assumed that maybe she was a runaway, like they do a lot of children. And even in my case, when I left, they don't take getting someone back to their loved ones is so important in a quick period of time. And because of that, we made sure we kept her legacy alive. So the family, the Barnes family, and Jill Carter at the time had pulled together a law. And, we constantly went back through the General Assembly until we got it passed. The beauty of it is that before, you had a 48 hours before a missing person report can be done. It's instant now. There's no more waiting. And that report helps with NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center, that holds all the information for all missing loved ones in their database. But also, we can get it to organizations like the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children and Black and Missing, who have a huge, like they market across the country, of a missing child, and that's important. So that happened in 2012. So once you know better, you do better, and we have that law in our honor. So I'm excited about that type of work.
Do you find that Black children are searched for at the same level as white children?
In my heart, I always say the only race that matters is the race to get the child home. That's the only race. However, it is a national statistics that show that one, every 40 seconds a child goes missing, but also it's over 40% of African Americans that are in that number. And it probably has increased since that time. Um, yes, I do feel that, they call it the white girl syndrome or the white woman syndrome. When a white woman goes missing, you get helicopter, Godiva dolls, you get drones, search parties. And in African American kids, it doesn't happen. There's two sides of that. And I personally, and I feel proud to be able to say it. I think in their culture, they own horses, they own jet skis, they scuba dive, so they have access to things that are a hobby to them. So when someone goes missing, they get involved. We in certain communities, will they lend? Should they? Could they? it would be a beautiful thing if we could all come together and do that all the time. But I just, in me watching for the last 15 to 20 years, that's what I've witnessed. Because I went a little deep to find out why. Why aren't we being helped? And then I don't want to say back in the day, everyone was at Big Mama's house. He was at his, on the couch surfing. He didn't want to go home. So he had a kid that would stay at one friend's house, go to another friend, because he just didn't want to go home. So, were we aggressive with it? We've gotten so much better now. We really have. We create the flyers created. We actually pull, resources together, and we team up and do search parties. We notify the police department. Did you know that even with the unfortunate loss of Freddie Gray, about the consent decree, and Wanda Watts was, she's one of the active members on the Baltimore City Security panel, the team. The team. Wanda Watts. Miss Watts. Well, she would allow me to always come and participate because they have these open community forums. And it was imperative to build in that if you call the police to report a child missing and they don't show up, maybe they're busy, volumes are low, you don't want to go to the precinct, you can actually now go to baltimorepolice.org and file a missing police report. So again, I'm proud of Baltimore City for the work that we're doing. When you know something, you do a little bit better. And that's important. And that helps in our African-American community to get the report. They actually call the National Center of Missing Exploited Children and Black and Missing and get the flyers made. I see a lot of people just posting up a picture saying my kid is missing. There are no names, there are no addresses, there's no region where they located, because their urgency to get the face out there, but it lacks the detail, the information that's needed: height, weight, hair color, any distinguishing features like a birthmark or a scar. So again, I do feel that white people do move and engage faster, and I think we're building.
Okay, well, what about when that Amber Alert goes off? Do that Amber Alert go off for Black kids at the same rate?
Yes, it does.
Let's even the playing field.
Yes. So Detective Debbie Fowler with the Maryland State Human Trafficking Task Force has been really instrumental over the last past 10 years, and I've watched it evolve. So to me, as soon as that Amber Alert goes off, it's for white, Black, whatever ethnicity, and I'm proud of that. That means a lot to a lot of families. There are criteria. There are criteria that have to be met.
I would say that here in Sandtown, on multiple occasions, I've heard helicopters looking for missing kids.
Yes. Well, I think, what is it? Trot Fox. To me, it's they'll put the alert out, and it's really to let the child know we're looking for you. Go home.
I've heard it myself. And big ups to Baltimore City Police. What happened the day your sister found you?
Say it again.
What happened the day you found your sister?
Oh. Oh my goodness, that was really weird. So again, when it comes to what agencies across the country is doing, I had been missing for over 50 years, and I had been very vocal about it.
Now you got to explain that to people, because you're right here. They're wondering.
They're not wondering. We're jumping topics. So I'm jumping.
You're a grown woman, and we see you right here. You are not missing. I see you.
I was missing for over 50 years. You see me. But I had no identity because of a child abduction. So you made me why are you making me laugh? I'm trying to stay focused right now.
Do it ever make you want to go back and whoop somebody's, like you kind of want to whoop Trump? Did Trump make you want to whoop him?
No, you gotta forgive people, and I can't absorb all of the anger and frustration that I see.
I had to throw some hot water on him.
You know what? To straighten his hair. Would you say to straighten his hair out a little bit? So yeah, so working with agencies again is documentation. You see a lot that's going on. Since you mentioned the orange person, if you don't have your birth certificate, if you don't have your passport, if you don't have your social security, you need to take the time right now and gather every bit of documentation. Stick it back under the mattress, put it in the folder of the Bible, whatever you need to do, just get it, because I think he's going to flip a lot of elements across the country, even when it comes to traveling. It's really, really key to have your
Imagine leaving the country and coming back. They say, no, you cannot come here.
yes.
You cannot come into the United States.
Not especially not through the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America. Who does that?
Who does that? Who does that?
An
But back
ignorant
to the
person.
story
Okay.
it was very instrumental to see that a lady in South Carolina reached out to me and she said, Monique, I see a lot of, so the work that you're doing with, missing children, the advocacy work and the legislation you've went through. She said, but I've been following your story and I think you're this missing little girl that the families are looking for. And she sent me the photo and it was a missing persons folder. And I said, I know we have, I know we have Angela Bassett, genes on when it comes to, but I'm not that old. I don't think I'm that old. So we contacted the sheriff and we let the sheriff know that we were going to run my samples with the intake that they had. And her name is Phyllis Powles. She's still missing. And they did find out that we were not a match, but we let the family know, which is really important because she too was missing for over 50 years. So just to have the family know that, there are people that are out there working on cold cases, that are often forgotten about. And ironically, that sparked something in the detective who was working on my case, who reached out to CC Moore, who was a DNA specialist, and they extracted all of my data elements from both ancestries.com and 23andMe. Did this little cocktail, and he actually found a woman that was looking for the death certificate because everyone thought I was dead of her baby sister. And she was just ecstatic. Like she was just, it was just an
Does she look
emotional.
like you?
We look like twins. Yeah, we
So
look
what
like
happened
twins.
that day?
Oh, we called and we talked on the phone, and it was kind of weird, but it was we talked on the phone, and we were still trying to size up. Is this you? Is that you? Let's do the process of elimination. To see whether or not we were a match. And of course, it was going during COVID, so we really couldn't do any additional DNA testing because of
Could you
the
FaceTime her?
no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I just kept, uploading pictures of her. She was uploading pictures of her, of myself to her and vice versa. And I had a screening. So, I did my own documentary because once I didn't hear from Oprah, Sally, Jesse, Raphael, Ellen, no one was calling Tyler Perry. I was sending transcripts to everyone to get my face on television to see who would know anything about a missing child that would have potentially been born in 1965, 66, or 67 across this country. And I kept showing the documentary. It came out in September of 2019, and I was on tour, and she actually showed up. Surprisingly, I turned around and was walking to me because we looked almost like identical twins, and basically collapsed in her arms, and it went viral. So it was just a beautiful reunion. She had her children, so I had my children. They were able to meet for the very first time. And it was just, again, it was just a lot of hope that was felt that day that came through my spirit and hers as well. So this is why I advocate really, really hard. Actually, this year, with this campaign in 2025 for Missing Children's Day, I will probably have reached $100,000 in contributions to support missing children campaigns. So 20 years, I'm excited. That's a big number for a long period of time. But again, the recovery of what we do with the police department, the state, police, and the DMV area. We hosted right here in Baltimore City the very first tri-state. We brought in Virginia and DC right here to Baltimore City, and we were collecting DNA samples. We were matching links. We had the National Services for the Children. We had the NAMUS organization, the Guardian Angels, who still operate here in the city. So many agencies came out to just bring that awareness, but also resources.
When did you
Ooh.
first know that you were missing?
When did I first know? At the assumed age of 28, I was literally, I was still calling who I thought was my mom
Right?
and asking.
Was she the one who kidnapped you?
Yes, yes, yes.
What you
So
do to
I did nothing. I did not. I did all the right things. I asked for documentation. I asked for proof, of my identity, and it
her?
just
I mean,
really
did you
went
get her
south.
locked up?
I attempted to several times, and all parties involved. You'll get to see that because it aired 2 years ago on HBO. Black and Missing. I'm episode number 4.
What advice do you have for someone out there with a missing loved one?
Just you really have to follow whatever processes are given. The first thing is to do the process of elimination. So when someone's missing, call the relatives, friends, and any social activity. So if they were fans of bowling or skating, you reach out to those organizations, but then immediately notify authorities because you don't want to call authorities when they were actually hanging out with their best friend for 2 days because you didn't call them to find out. That's the first thing. Second thing is, of course, to get the police report, but then keep the one officer or agent involved. Because I think what happens is people will call and get the desk, they'll call, get another officer, try to keep that information and funnel the information back through so it's not, scattered all throughout the agency. A lot of programs do not have a link where you can register and all the data elements are kept on one case. So always contact that person back. And then instantly get a flyer with some real descriptions, on it. Unfortunately, I see a lot of children, they'll have the picture up like this, and it's blocking it. So you want the front face, not any of the profiles. And that's the key. And then again, go back out. The process of elimination is you got to go to those places where you think they were frequent.
What do Latinos go through?
The same. Oh, they go through the same. Unfortunately, I think they are transported faster than we are. So within 2 hours of any individual missing, they're usually abused. A lot of times within that 2 hours, they're physically abused. Within that same 2 hours, mentally abused. Within that same 2 hours, they could be murdered. Within that same 2 hours, they could be out of the state. So this is why the first 2 hours, not the first 48, not the first 24, the first 2 hours is critical. But I think in the Hispanic community, unfortunately, I think they're, from what I'm seeing, the stats and statistics, is that they're out of state in a quick period of time.
If you find yourself in the trunk of a car, what do you do?
I don't do those specialties. So I don't do I don't get
Let's
that.
say the first thing is to try to kick out the headlight, the tail light.
Okay. Have you tried? Have you tried? I think the designs of vehicles are not the same that they are anymore. So I think that's why. But I do love the fact that you brought that up because I think people should try. I think people should do trial and errors and test themselves. At some of my functions, what I have is 2 people who show up at an event, stand themselves back to back. I said, you've been with you all day long. You've been together. I give them a pen and a piece of paper, and I said, write down what the person who you've been with for the last 3-4 hours, what are they wearing? Describe it to a T. And a lot of times it's an epic fail. It's really an epic fail. They should know that they're wearing glasses, that they have a scar over top of their eye. You're the last person who's seen that individual before they were mentioned. You hold the key to actually helping that person get recovered.
So this is FBI training class 101.
However you want to call it that. But I love doing it because, again, anyone can go missing at any time. If you're out on a date and you go to the restroom and, you could be snatched because you just went to the restroom. Your date is sitting there waiting on you. You can go to the mall and you're out there with your mom and you say, okay, well, I'm going to sit here while you go to the next store. My feet are killing me. So you're thinking the person is shopping and they've been walked completely out of the mall. It can happen to anyone. When you go to the festivals, same thing. You're there with your kids, you're letting them go on a ride, and you turn 2 seconds, to get a funnel cake, and you turn back around, the child is gone. So this is why you have the conversation. where's the meeting point if we go somewhere? If you go missing, call me, text me, have a code. I still believe in the codes. Me and my children had codes. So if they were home and I got a signal that said, there's a llama in the back, I got right home. That was our code too. There was a llama in the back. Never had to use it, but we had a code. And it's imperative. If you're married, have a code. If you're dating, enhance your friendship. Have a code. I don't want you to go missing. So what is a keyword? What is a code? It's sad that it has gotten to this point where you don't want to live in fear, but you just have to protect yourself. At the red light, my doors are locked. I go in the bathroom, I look under all the stalls,
Here's the new code word: pig feet and bubble gum.
It's funny you say that because I have a friend that's pig feet casserole. They say I make the best pig feet casserole. That means I need to get in there and help them out.
Damn. Pig feet casserole.
Yeah.
What is pig feet casserole?
I don't know. I said it's a code word. It's an SOS code word, young man. It's an SOS code word. Well, obviously my story and my advocacy work has hit the masses beyond HBO. And on April 12th at 8 o'clock, my entire story will be premiering on Lifetime. So I'm very excited about that. I just got a call yesterday that
get out of here after we scheduled this.
Yes, April 12th, they'll be showing my entire life story. It's called Not My Family, the Monique Smith story.
Congratulations. And you've been working on this, 72 years?
No, this has only been in the works probably for 2 years. They had to find, I think, Yaya Dakota I'm saying her name wrong, from America's Top Model, season 2. She actually played Whitney Houston. I was like, okay, excuse me, I'm excited. So that means that's going to get some real good eyes, and that's going to help the awareness part.
Oh, she's really playing you?
Yes. Yes.
So does she got to get a bald head?
Actually, she's playing the old me. The bald head is the Symboli Ruffin.
I didn't know the old you. Would you have a mushroom?
Yeah, the old me. No, the old me. She's playing Monique Smith. The new me is Symboli Ruffin, which is my real name. Yes.
Your real name is Symboli.
Yes, Simboli Ruffin, Ruffin. So
have you embraced Symboli? That's why the S in Monique.
That's why the S in Monique. It's hard to go from Monique because I think I have embraced Symboli and become, Monique. Embraced Symboli, and unfortunately I never met my mom, so I don't know if it's spelled and pronounced Symboli, or Symboli. I'm sticking with the Symboli, but it's a variation of it. So I'm excited.
Did you ever get the far-fetched idea of going and kidnapping the kidnapper just to take him for a ride for a while? Like put him in the truck?
She vowed to take what happened to me to her grave. And she did. She died the same year. She died at the age of 77. And she died the very year that I reunited with my family. Look at God.
Did you ever want to dig her up just to kidnap her anyway?
You know what? You just want me to grab hold of something. You want me to grab hold of somebody, don't you?
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would she do it?
Huh?
Why does she do it?
I think a lot of women that I've seen in Carnalina White, I know everyone remembers the baby that was stolen from the hospital in New York. We have Kamira Mosby, who was found in New Jersey, who discovered herself as well, was stolen. Women all three of these women could not conceive children. And they stole other people's children.
Is there an association of formerly missing persons?
There are dozens of them, but I'm sorry. Formerly, I'm sorry. Agencies are looking for, but I have not seen one one have formerly missed.
Have you started one with you and the people who have been found?
No, again, my focus and energy really has been on preventative measures, because a lot of people can't. Be, it's emotional. It really is emotional. You have to go back through. Look, I was beat every day my entire childhood. I suffered. I lived in the basement. I was sexually assaulted as early from the age of 3 until I was 18. And it's hard to constantly open that wound again. You're snatching off a band-aid. I don't mind when I know that I'm seeing the results that I need to see. We actually have Governor Hogan awarded me National Missing Children's Day in the state of Maryland. So again, I've seen the work from the advocacy actually help communities everywhere. Miss Rita Cruz, I know she's from the Bel Air Edison. She's had me come in and speak at one of her community associations, just speak to individuals about what we can do as a community to work together, recover loved ones, or to make it preventative. Big legislations are being done. So yeah, I don't get involved with the group, and I don't know how many. They're all over the place, I think, and they're older. And again, some don't advocate. We have a couple of nice laws that parents who had to endure losing their child from rape or murder, horrific acts, they're not going to always be in a position to champion laws because it's too much for them. So no, I do not.
How are you not bitter?
How am I not bitter? Again, that was one of the best things I think that God gave me was, resiliency and hope. I didn't have harm and hate, and I understood maybe there was something wrong. Obviously, it was something I was raised by them. I knew that there was something wrong with them. So just holding my role as the ancestor. I had no mother, no father, no sister, no brother, no aunt, no uncle. So to me, I had to hold the role and I had to become the story that I wanted told. I didn't want to hear about the story of the abduction, the molestation. It happened, but it wasn't, I didn't stay there. I had to elevate beyond that to be able to help myself, my children, my legacy, and my community. I'm just excited.
Tell me the significance of Sisters for Sisters Network in your life.
Oh my goodness. So Sisters for Sisters Network is an amazing. Peggy Morrison had her sisters. I think they're over thousands. They're like you, Doni. I mean, you're close to 3,000 people that you've honored for just simply being themselves and the best version of themselves. Well, so does Sisters for Sisters. And looking at what they do when it comes to the sisterhood, working together, making sure that you're partnering, doing nice collaborations, recognizing people, and then being that shoulder. Business is hard. Sometimes you may need a shoulder to cry on. And I came across Sisters and Sisters, it was probably 2014, 2012. And I sponsored 2 young ladies, and I said, listen, you're constantly calling me, and they were my mentees, and I said, do me a favor. Here's a great organization. Get with this mentorship. I'm gonna sponsor you guys to go. Here's the membership fees, and they blossom. So I'm love what the organization does. Peggy is an amazing woman.
Anything else you want to share that we didn't cover?
No, I think you covered it all. I just, again, I would love for people to get involved. I know everyone can get involved at different levels. Some people donate money to organizations, but people who don't have funds, you can always volunteer by posting up flyers. If you're on social media and you see missing children information, just share it out. 2 clicks, and you're covering a brand new territory for someone who is not in that particular population. So it doesn't always have to be monetary. A lot of times people are not interested, but prepare yourself. If I ask you today, if an Amber Alert goes off and the federal government says we don't have enough officers to do the search, are you willing to go dumpster diving? Are you willing to go into the wooded area and look for clues? Those are the things that I think that I would love to see people practice and engage.
How can people get in touch with you, SMonique Smith?
Yes, I'm on all social media platforms, known as Monique, and that's on LinkedIn, Instagram, to even the TikTok. I'm on the Talker, and then of course SMonique Smith on Facebook. My email address is known as Monique Smith gmail.com.
Congratulations on finally getting the Lifetime show. And then, are there any other shows we need to look out for?
No. This is I've been on the grind, on the work. Woo! I've been working really, really hard. So I'm not gonna take a break, but I know this is gonna be a big one. People are already booking me. So right now they're having screening events scheduled. I have about 4. I just found out day before yesterday. I said yesterday. I found out day before yesterday, and I already have 4 screening events. So I'm gonna post them on social media on my page. Thank you.
Good deal. And who knew you would have on Blue today? The one and only SMonique. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, a Black Wall Street honoree gave me this. I got a gift set.
Oh yeah. Oh, real quick, I have a question for you. They're taking down the Black Lives Matter as we speak, and from DC. So that $1 million project of them painting.
They are going to be cleaning up the homeless people in DC. Trump says it's unsightly.
Oh my gosh.
So I was picturing earlier today a homeless person whooping Donald Trump's hind parts.
This concludes our because you just want to be violent all day today.
We tired of foolishness. Some people should just be snatched.
I don't like that word. That's
Okay.
triggering to me. That's triggering.
Okay. Okay. My mistake. I apologize.
Okay.
I wish you weren't the president.
Okay.
Good morning, world.
Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.